Jaya Sri Krishna. You know, Vinay
Yes,
ji,
Hari.
welcome to Bharat Marg. You can come up a little bit high, uh, come close by. Yeah, but very, very happy to have you here. Today we are going to discuss about a mega church which is located in Oakville, Ontario, Canada. The celebrity pastor Bruxy Cavey gang trolls the sex victims. This is what we are going to talk about. Ever since the allegations started coming, the victims are complaining about getting harassed over the social media, in person, in email, trolls and harassments and threats. And they say the attorney says they are very, very fearful due to the harassment and threat they are seeing and hearing, and it has been complained to the police. You know, click and watch to know the discussion what is happening in the name of love and God. Comment and share. Okay, that's agenda for today. But we will request you friends, if you're watching the video, please make sure to like the video and also subscribe the channel if you didn't already. The Bharat Mark channel, please subscribe and press the notification bell to make sure that you get notified as we come live. Okay, but here we are with political analyst from Toronto, Canada, uh, Vinay ji. Again, welcome to Bharat Marg. And what is really happening here? It's a huge church, mega church, right? As the name says, and the pastor is a very popular pastor, having a tremendous political backing, and powerful man versus the poor victims. What's happening here?
Yeah, so just a few weeks ago, I think it was in June the 14th, Pastor Bruxy Cavey was charged by the Oakville police for misconduct and sexual allegations. And keep in mind that Oakville Church is one of Canada's largest evangelical church, and it reveals 38 allegations of sexual misconduct
So
against.
far,
Sorry,
so far,
so
so
far,
far, 30.
so far, yes. And what has happened is there's a victim's advocate that the court has appointed. Her name is Melody Bissell, and she is actually asking people to come out into the open and but she's working on behalf of the church, keep that in mind. And she's asking people to come out and come out with their stories and tell everything what's going on or what happened and in the past. I mean, like, keep in mind that sexual allegations, even if it's 30 years old or 40 years old, it doesn't matter. Police will still investigate. It'll still be a case. So it
Mhm.
doesn't have to be like the most recent. So she's asking victims from even the past to come out and talk about it. But because the church is so powerful, people have been afraid. So one of the first victims, so her name has not been revealed, and she is still, staying anonymous. But she is being called Alana,
Mhm.
and Alana is like a Toronto Star actually gave that name to her, just to kind of give a name to
Some
it,
kind of identity.
identity. So Alana actually was the first one to come out and talk about her her bad experiences with Bruxy Cavey. It apparently started off with words and flirts and flirting and things like that, and then some little bit of touching and groping, and then it went to some other extremes. And she came out, I mean, she was very, very kind of unsure if she should be coming out and talking about it, because keep in mind, this is an extremely influential church, extremely big church.
Means
And
Prime Minister is scared to talk against them.
oh my god, it's like unbelievable. People say that certain church groups and churches in North America are so powerful, they actually control the government. they
Correct.
are they are in cahoots with the government, because there is funding, there is their vote bank.
All voluntary army comes for their election.
Yeah,
to
Yeah,
make
and
phone calls, telecalls, telemarketing. That is
Exactly, because you know what, when if liberals or conservatives or whoever, right, ask for support from these church groups, they are more than willing, because they send their volunteers to campaign. They provide funding. And there's the vote bank as well, because the church, if it is supporting a certain candidate, guess what? Everybody from that church actually goes and votes for that particular candidate. So it's extremely important for the political organizations not to rock the boat. They
and
want to
and
just
not even conservatives who again church is mostly considered as conservative vote bank. They didn't even come back to talk about it. You know
correct. Yeah, exactly. I mean, liberals are in power right now, but even the conservatives are not. I mean, I'm talking about the federal level, and conservatives have not come forward and talked anything about it. And yeah, so basically that's what's going on. So Alana, when she came out and started talking about it, apparently in the last few days she's been receiving threatening calls from don't know who. She's been trolled on Facebook. She's been trolled on Instagram, and her, and apparently she's even received a couple of calls. And not only her, even the church advocate Melody Bissell, she has apparently received some threatening calls and trolls and whatever, asking them to kind of abandon this whole thing,
Shut up and
stop.
put up.
Yeah, basically it's like threatening them to stop making false allegations against Bruxy Cavey, and saying that if you don't take away your complaint or withdraw your complaint, then we will do something, or some, to that effect.
See,
So this is
and
crazy.
the poor thing is these ladies who are complaining, they had to live in this area, and they had to go to the grocery. They had to go, even though the name identity is hidden. Many of the people in the church know them.
I think so, because you know what, no matter what, people know who the victim is. I mean, like, it's kind of, I think, apparent, because Bruxy Cavey has a bunch of these inner circle coterie, whatever you want to
Mhm.
call it, right? And those people probably know, and they have probably leaked the information out to the rest of the world and
Mhm.
rest of the church group, I mean. And obviously I think that's how it's kind of, because if they can troll her on Facebook, how did they come to know her Facebook account? If they can troll her on Instagram, how the heck did they come to know about her Instagram account? If they can
He
even
can leak
personally
it out,
call
right?
her on her cell phone, yeah, how
Absolutely.
did they come to know her cell phone number?
I am sure he would have called many times.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah.
So this is what is surprising to me, because a lot of these things are just so kind of bizarre, right? Like this, to see this happen in North America, it's kind of mind-boggling. I mean, like, I used to hear about stories, in um, back in India, where people used to do this, like the some of the Swamijis, and some of the Mutt Swamijis, some of the mullahs, and even to an extent, the church,
No,
people were
big
very
time in
powerful.
Kerala. What do you mean? Big time in Kerala and other places.
Kerala
Now the
is
nuns
big.
complained about Franco, and you know what happened.
There you go. There you
You
go.
know,
I think you did a story on that, right, a while
right?
ago.
Absolutely. Nun wrote a book, and she was completely abandoned by her community, her family, everything. She is on the road.
Yeah, because she complained against a pastor.
Yeah. and
Yeah,
and you know what happened with the what do you call where they go and say their sins, you know uh,
confession.
self confession. When they do it to the pastor, the lady was raped by multiple pastors in the what do you call in the church, but she was told to keep quiet by her husband because he didn't want the religion to get a bad name.
Yes, absolutely. And they don't want to go against the church, because the church gives them a lot of favors. Like, if you're a contractor, the church gives you a lot of work. If you are an independent businessman, the church buys all the stuff from you, and all the people go to that particular business to buy it, because the church promotes you. But if you go against the church, then guess what? That's it. You're cut off. So this has happened in India, and I was surprised that this is happening even here. I mean, like, unbelievable. And
Absolutely.
so this is just crazy what is going on. So I'm just kind of so what has happened with this particular incident is a lot of the people, a lot of women who were actually sexually assaulted, abused, and even probably raped, who knows,
Mhm.
by Bruxy Cavey, have stopped coming forward, because this is, they're thinking that their life could be in danger. Why rock the boat when everything is going smooth in their lives, right? Maybe they're now, it's maybe 20 years ago this happened, or 10 years ago. Maybe now they're married, settled, whatever, right? Now they don't want their family members to come to know about this, their husbands, their kids, and whatever. So they're
And
probably not
many
even
minors
coming
involved
forward.
too in this.
Yeah. And then they don't want threat to their own lives, right? Somebody calls their husband or calls them and says, okay, this has to stop and stuff like that. So they are afraid to come forward. So it's creating a lot of repercussions as well, and that's not good.
Absolutely. It's
So my take
absolutely.
on this is the police have to do something about it. I'm not sure what has happened. They arrested Bruxy
Let me
Cavey. I'm not.
ask
Yeah,
you this. You study a lot on this. I would like to ask you. Are they backing up the victim, or are they backing up the pastor?
that is difficult to say, because right now, in Canada, we say that the police are neutral, and the police work without any political or any influence. And I'm hoping it stays that way, and I'm hoping that they are able to protect the victim.
No, no. My question is: do you think the Vatican, okay, is standing with the
Oh, sorry.
victim, or with the church, the pastor who is
Okay,
accused of the?
you just we did a show a little while ago,
Mhm.
and about Pope. If the Vatican was going to come out against another church, I think that was a few days ago. We did that
Mhm.
story, and there the Pope was supposed to come forward and say something about the Canadian Cardinal, right? And
Mhm.
but guess what happened? Uh, Cardinal Ouellette, if you remember, from Montreal. So, but guess what? The Vatican said, no, we are not. This is there's going to be no probe into any allegations against the Canadian Cardinal. So my feeling is the same thing is going to happen with Bruxy Cavey as well. They're probably going to say, no, this is not true, or we are not going to probe against Bruxy Cavey. So we'll let the law take its own course. That's probably
But
what's going to end up happening. So
let
my
me
my
ask you.
feeling is,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm. Go ahead, please.
So my feeling is the Vatican is just going to probably stay neutral in this, because they don't want to upset the, because any allegations against the church, right? It actually affects the Vatican. So they probably want to just at a stay at a low profile and not talk about it. And guess what's going to happen? The people of the community, the Catholics, are going to lose faith in Vatican, are going to lose
Right.
faith in the church.
But let me ask you this, Vinayji. You are pretty aware of these things. I would like to learn from you. Okay, yeah, the people are promoted to the Christians are being promoted to donate 10% of their income to the pastor or the church wherever they go. Is that right?
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I don't know about the percent, but yes, you are right, because it's like it's
10%
encouraged.
they promote it. I have been
Yes,
inside the
absolutely.
things.
Absolutely.
But my
Absolutely.
question is not complete yet. My question is, do you think the pastors and the churches also have to pay a percentage to the Vatican? How does it work? That I don't know. I want like to know, because why otherwise the Vatican has to support the popular and more crowded, more rich congregations, irrespective of all the allegations.
No, absolutely, because the way the Vatican works, Vatican is the head of all these churches across the globe. All the Catholic churches kind of report to the Vatican, and there's also a hierarchy there. There is a cardinal, there's a bishop. I mean, starting off from the pastor, you go up to cardinal, bishop, and then you go into the inner circle of the Vatican, and then you go become the pope. So there's like like any organization, right? So
Hmm.
the Vatican basically funds churches that are not doing well to make sure that they actually start doing well. It's like
Hmm.
imagine like a corporation, a big
Hmm.
corporation. It'll probably have about a 300 divisions or offices across the globe, right? One
Hmm.
of the officers or maybe 10 of the offices are not doing well. Doesn't mean they'll shut it down. They still want it to function because it's kind of doing a certain portion of the service to the community,
Right.
and basically the other 290 are funding the other, the 10 churches, I mean, sorry, 10 organizations. Likewise, in case of church as well, same thing. Let's say you got about 10,000 churches across the globe, right? And out of
Hmm.
the 10,000 churches, let's say about 1,000 churches are not doing too well.
Hmm.
So guess what? Other 9,000 churches are going to kind of indirectly fund the 1,000 churches, but all this money is kind of flowing through the Vatican so that they manage the finances for all these churches, and that's how they have control over these churches. They can remove or replace a pastor. They can appoint a pastor. They're the ones who replace or appoint a bishop, and they're the ones who replace a bishop, appoint a cardinal. So they have a
Hmm.
lot of power over the churches, and the churches are absolutely afraid because it's the same thing in the organization. There's a CEO at the top level who controls all the 300 divisions, and
Hmm.
now every division will have a general manager or a president or whatever, right? But all
Hmm.
these people report to the CEO. Likewise, all pastors report to the Vatican Pope.
And these collections must be going to Vatican too. So that's why one of the reasons
Yeah,
I
yeah, because
believe,
they manage the funds. They
like
manage the funds. I
like
mean, some
they
of the
take 10% from the people.
100%, because during the Sunday worship, they actually raise a lot of funds, and other than that, they also do a lot of events, a lot of fundraising, a
Fundraising
lot of
events itself, yeah.
collections, and it's like any
Renting
non-profit
the parking lot.
yeah, they do sales, like the baking sale in the parking lot. They do yard sale and whatever, right? So however they can raise the funds,
Right.
they do that.
And anyway, thank you for shedding the information here. We at Bharat Marg, we honestly believe we have been tracking the story along with you, and we honestly want to make sure that the victims are protected, they are safe and secured, because again, I'm not a big believer of thinking that Canada is a very neutral place, playground, and all, because we know what is happening here. In fact, we are going to do a program on it tomorrow, that how the Hindus are being targeted by the people, so-called encouraged by in Canada and things like that. But having said that, the victims, we pray for them. We make sure that we want to make sure they are safe, secured. We will request the police and other law officials to make sure that they are being given enough protection, to make sure they are not being harassed, and uh, and they are being not being the target of the threats or any kind of mis happening that will happen, so that it not only saves them but also encourages other victims like them to confidently come forward. Right, right,
Absolutely,
Vinayji. Anything
absolutely.
you want to add on before we say
No,
close?
that's exactly what I wanted to say. I hope Alana and the other the group, the church advocate Melody Bissell, and many other victims, are able to do their job and bring justice to this
Free
whole
and
thing.
fair. Yep.
And Bruxy Cavey should be punished and should actually.
And
Uh,
any abuser, it's not about, we are not talking about Bruxy KV or anything. Any
Absolutely.
abuser who violates,
Yeah.
need to be brought to be justice. Okay,
No,
let's.
this if this is this is going to set a precedence, because what is going to happen is, if the victims are not coming forward, if they're afraid to tell their stories, and if Alana is being threatened, and if the police are not going to do anything about it, it's going to set a precedence for future such stories as well. And guess what's going to happen? People will think, oh, you know what, this is what happened in Bruxy Cavey's case, so we are not going to come forward, because you know what, I don't want to be threatened, I don't want to lose my life, and things like that. So
Absolutely.
I hope the
Absolutely.
police do
And
something.
from Bharat Marg, we will also request the politicians get some nerve, come out and talk. Vote is okay, but is that what you are all living about? Come on, stand with the victims, stand with give them a free and fair environment where they can get justice, because justice denied is no good at all, or justice
Yeah,
delayed is no
justice
good at all.
delayed is justice denied.
Anyone is no good, but we don't want no justice denial, we don't want no justice delay. We just want a fair and free thing for them to get the justice. But anyway,
Absolutely.
thank you, Vinayji, for
Thank you, G.
coming and talking to us. Appreciate it highly. You have been always the best, because you do a lot of homework on this, and people don't know you are an author of a book that is upcoming, and we will talk about it on the coming episode also. Okay. Thank you for spending your time with Bharat Mar. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.